it seems not to be empty. Thus the prakrti of water by itself is cold. If one brings it close to fire, it becomes hot. If one puts out the fire, it becomes cold again. It is the same with the prakrti of dharmas. Along as the karmic conditions are not present, it is empty, non-existent, like the prakrti of water, eternally cold. When the conditions come together, the dharmas exist like the water that becomes hot near the fire. If the conditions become rare or disappear, there are no more dharmas, like the boiling water that becomes cold again when the fire is extinguished. Sutra. It is said in a sutra, "The I is empty, without me or mine." Why? Because that is its essence. The ear, nose, tongue, body, and mind, color, sound, smell, taste, touch and dharmas are also like that. Question. This sutra says that the 12 ayatanas are empty of me and mine. 1. It speaks of the emptiness of beings and not of the emptiness of things. Why do you see in it a proof of the emptiness of the prakrti? Answer. In the sutra, it is merely a question of the emptiness of the prakrti. It does not speak of the emptiness of beings or of the emptiness of things. Prakrtisunyata is of two kinds. 1. In the 12 bases of consciousness, there is no me and no mine. The emptiness belonging to the 12 bases of consciousness consists of the absence of me and the absence of mine. This is what is said in the system of the sravakas. 2. The Mahayana system, however, says 1. The 12 bases of consciousness having neither me nor mine are empty. 2. The prakrti essence of the 12 bases of consciousness, being non-existent, is itself empty of prakrti. Moreover, if there is neither me nor mine, one automatically ends up in the emptiness of things. Because people are specially attached to their me and mine, the Buddha says only that there is no me or mine. From that we necessarily will know the emptiness of all the dharmas. To be detached from the dharmas of me and mine is to be detached from other dharmas a fortiori. This is why the emptiness of beings and the emptiness of things finally end up in the same sense called emptiness of essence here. Finally, what is called prakrti is to exist by itself, independent of causes and conditions. That which depends on causes and conditions is a formation and not a prakrti, and in no dharma is there a prakrti. Why? Because all conditioned dharmas arise from causes and conditions and, since they arise from causes and conditions, they are formations. If they did not arise from causes and conditions, they would not be dharma. Therefore it is the absence of prakrti in every dharma which is called emptiness of prakrti. 2. Emptiness of prakrti and absolute emptiness. Question. But absolute emptiness, being nothing at all, is identical with the emptiness of prakrti. Why do you repeat yourself? Answer. Absolute emptiness is the destruction of dharmas without any residue, whereas emptiness of prakrti consists of being originally and eternally empty. The latter is like water which, cold by essence, becomes hot when it is brought to the fire and becomes cold again when the fire is extinguished. Absolute emptiness, however, is like space, ever without production, without destruction, without taints and without purification. Why do you claim that they are identical? Furthermore, dharmas are absolutely empty. Why? Because their prakrti is non-existent. Dharmas are empty of essence. Why? Because they are absolutely empty. Finally, the emptiness of prakrti is particularly cultivated by the bodhisattvas whereas absolute emptiness is particularly cultivated by the Buddhas. Why? In the emptiness of prakrti there is only a complex of causes and conditions but there is no real essence. Absolute emptiness itself is pure in the 3 times. Those are the differences. I2. Shared practice and specific practice. The essences of all dharmas are of 2 kinds, 1. Shared essences and 2. Specific essences. I. Shared prakrtis. Essence. Are impermanence, suffering, emptiness, non-self, non-production, non-destruction, non-coming, non-going, non-entering, non-leaving, etc. 2. Specific prakrtis. Essence. R, E, G. The hot essence of fire, the moist essence of water. AP. The intelligent essence of the mind. The man who rejoices in doing evil is said to be of bad essence. The one who loves to accumulate good things is said to be of good essence. As it is said in the Chali King, the Buddha knows the world with its many essential dispositions. As these prakrtis, essence, are empty, we speak here of the emptiness of the prakrtis, essence. 4. Absurdity of the shared practice. Absurdity of an impermanent prakrti. If an impermanent prakrti really existed, it would ruin the retribution of actions. Why? Because productions, destructions, and the past would be without duration, the six organs would not seize their objects and there would not be any accumulated causes and conditions. This accumulation being absent, recitation of the Sutras, meditation, etc. would be impossible. This is how we know that an impermanent prakrti does not exist. Absurdity of a permanent prakrti. If an impermanent prakrti does not exist, what could be said then about a permanent prakrti? Absurdity of a painful prakrti. Furthermore, a painful prakrti does not itself exist either. If it were really painful, one would never experience a feeling of attachment. The person filled with distaste for and fear of suffering would feel the same distaste and the same fear towards happiness. If everything were essentially painful, the Buddha would not have mentioned three kinds of sensations: unpleasant sensation, pleasant sensation, and neither unpleasant nor pleasant sensation. If everything were essentially painful, there would not be the occasion to feel hatred for suffering, love for happiness, worry towards what is neither painful nor happy. If everything boiled down to a single nature, that of suffering, one would feel hatred for happiness and love for suffering, which is absurd. Absurdity of a happy prakrti. If this painful prakrti is non-existent, what can be said of a happy prakrti except again that it is false? -6. Absurdity of an empty prakrti and a real prakrti. Moreover, an empty prakrti does not itself exist either. Why? If there were emptiness, there would be neither sin nor merit, and, in the absence of sin and merit, there would be no previous existence and no later existence. Moreover, dharmas exist in interdependence. Why is that? If there were emptiness, there must be reality, and if there is reality, there must be emptiness. Since the empty prakrti does not exist, how could there be a reality? -8. Absurdity of an impersonal prakrti and of a personnel prakrti. If there were no Atman, there would be neither bondage nor deliverance. One would not go from the present lifetime to the future lifetime to gather the fruit of sin and merit, and there would be no fruit of retribution caused by actions. For these reasons we know that an impersonal prakrti does not exist, nor, a fortiori, a personal prakrti. -10. Absurdity of a prakrti without arising or destruction and a prakrti with arising and destruction. A prakrti without arising or destruction is not real either. Why? If it really existed, one would fall into the view of eternalism. If all dharmas were eternal, there would be no sin and no merit. That which is would exist eternally, and that which is not would never exist. That which is not would not arise, and that which is would not disappear. If a prakrti without rising or destruction does not exist, what then can be said of a prakrti with arising and destruction? It is the same for the prakrtis. Essence. Without coming or going, without entering or leaving, and other shared prakrtis. Essence. 5. Absurdity of specific practice. Furthermore, the specific prakrtis, essence, are also absurd. How is that? Take, for example, fire. It burns its material of appropriation and it illuminates. When two dharmas are brought together, we say there is fire. If outside of these two dharmas there existed a fire, it would possess separately a distinct function. But actually there is no distinct function. This is how we know that fire is just a designation and has no reality. If truly there is no fire dharma, why do you say that heat is the essence of fire? Moreover, the heat essence arises from conditions. Inwardly there is the body organ and outwardly there is tangible form. Together they give rise to a tactile consciousness that perceives the presence of warmth. If the organ and the tangible are not brought together, there is no heat essence. This is why we know that there is no fixed heat constituting the essence of fire. Moreover, if fire really had a heat essence, how do you explain? First, that some people on entering fire are not burned. Secondly, that the fire present in the human body does not burn the body. Thirdly, that water cannot destroy the fire present in space. It is because fire does not have as essence a fixed heat. 1. By the power of the superknowledges, fire does not burn the body of some ascetics. 2. As a result of actions, fire does not burn the 5 internal organs of the human body. 3. By the power of the celestial dragon, water does not destroy the fire of space. Finally, if the heat essence were different from fire, fire would not be hot. And if heat were the same as fire, why claim that this heat is the essence of fire? It is the same with the other Prakrtis essence. As the shared Prakrtis essence and the specific Prakrtis essence do not exist, the